Okay, let's go with the improved data security. There has been a lot of debates around this in the last year within if Google Analytics is still legal, just because all the information that is gathering from the users and these policies of GDPR and CCPR are really concerning regarding the user data privacy. And one thing I want to make clear in this point is that Universal Analytics is shutting down, and there is a high chance that that is for privacy reasons. So we have to make sure this is probably like a big part on why they decided to shut down the previous version. Okay, so the first thing that is coming in GA4 is the IP anonymization. So the IP is anonymized by default in GA4. This is essentially used to get the country and the location of the user. And the thing is that in Universal Analytics, you could get to see that IP pretty easy. And now it's anonymized by default. So it's much more compliant with all these new regulations. Then we have the data retention period that I want you to pay attention on this, because this will impact as well on your business, because now Google Analytics is giving you the option to choose for how much time you want to retain the user data. I mean, that means the raw data that is coming into your property. And you can choose between 2 and 14 months of data retention. So that means that the raw data will only be stored for a cap of 14 months in GA4. And after those 14 months, that data won't be there. So you will need to store the data in some data warehouse like BigQuery. I mean, Google Analytics is really encouraging us to use BigQuery with this free integration and everything, because basically they want to move from a side and decide the Google Analytics property owners to decide if they want to keep the data from the users and how much data they want to keep. So yeah, I mean, our recommendation, of course, is for you to set the storage timelines to the maximum, which right now is 14 months. And if the analysis that you usually do look back for a period longer than 14 months, start learning these new technologies to make sure to have the data backed up. Okay. Lastly, we have the consent mode. That this consent mode is set up through the GA tags. And is actually still in beta mode, but basically if the users are opting out of being tracked on your site, Google will still be able to get some basic data from them to model that data with machine learning technology, so we can still get insights from the data. Okay. So Pia, how are we going so far?
With this one, we are good. We do have a question. I'm going to save that one for the end. It's a very good question, Doug. So thank you for that. So what I'm understanding from this section is essentially, as you mentioned at the beginning, the market is moving in a way that, you know, users want more privacy. We need to be able to control the data that we want to give Google and marketers, you know, in general. And it's not that Google are lawyers, but Google are going to make sure that at least they're compliant. So Google Analytics 4 is moving towards the direction that we can rely on them to be compliant, and we can at least execute marketing strategies and anything that we need to in a safe way. So it was something that the market needed, that users also need. So that's what I gathered from this section. There's a lot more stuff into it. Like we said, we can't cover everything in detail,